Hey, what's up everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so sometimes you see things online and you just you can't shake it, I guess you could say. And listen, I understand that the world that we're in, particularly 2022, in the era that I'm living in right now as I make this video, there's a lot of stuff going on outside that puts people in positions to lose their lives and stuff like that. And it's really sad anytime anybody loses their life. But I guess there's an artist, a gentleman by the name of Goonew from the DMV area, which is Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, for those who don't know. A rapper I had never heard of. Mind you, I'm a musical person, loves all kinds of rap, all kinds of R&B, all types of black music, and I just see it never crossed my radar. But from what I understand, listening to people who talk about his music, he was like an innovator. He was very talented. I watched some interviews on the guy, and seemed like he had a humble spirit, man. Humble spirit, heavy. Listening to his interviews, paying attention to him, seemed like he was very heavy. But lost his life in the streets. He was robbed and shot in his back. In a very tragic situation. I send condolences to his family. But the point is, the very first introduction I had of this individual was his funeral, and the spectacle that was made of his funeral. Now look, whatever your family's wishes are, whatever your wishes are for you, I do not have an opinion about that. You know what I mean? But what they did was they put this individual up in the club, like an actual nightclub, on a regular club night. I guess they decided, his family and his loved ones decided they wanted to have the funeral in the club. And they propped him up upright, stood him up in like club attire, Amiri jeans, Amiri stuff, phone in his hand, crown on his head. You know what I mean? And that was the way they sent him out. But I think, like, that aspect of it, that's between him and his family. My thing is, I just wish that the first image of this artist, of this person, was not that image. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if he decided himself in his final wishes that he told his family, hey, if something happened, this is how I want it to go. What do my opinion have to do with anything? But my thing is, did his loved ones think that out? Because the first introduction we have of this individual is a morbid one. Not his music, not his spirit, not him being alive, not, you know what I mean, talking about what he did and what he represented in his story. None of that. It was him not here. In a very morbid and dark and, dare I say, demonic image. You know what I mean? Like, and then I looked at the person and I'm like, and I'm watching the interviews and stuff like that, and I'm watching the encompass of the human being. I'm like, and I said to you, like, he's heavy. You know what I mean? I'm looking at his spirit and I'm like, this is an introspective person. In the interview that I was watching, he was smoking and drinking. So I imagine that probably had something to do with his demeanor and the questioning and all of that. But it was just like, this is a guy, this is a person. Like, when I sit on this camera, I talk about whatever I'm going through, all this stuff, I'm alive. I want the first and last image you see of me to be alive, the way I live, not whatever happens after I'm no longer. And I just wonder if that was the right way to go for his family, even though they wanted that for him. Was that the way to introduce him to many people who had never heard of him? A lot of us, a lot of people probably ran away from those opportunities to discover him because of that being the only thing that you see when you click on his name. There's a bunch of links with him and his body, you know what I mean, propped up in a way that just does not feel to me from afar like a tribute. It don't. It's like to me it felt like a demonic send-off. You know what I mean? Now, if that's what his family owned, again, I don't have an opinion about that. But I just feel bad for the represented energy of this person, the person he was. He obviously loved what he did. He obviously wanted to be successful in what he did. He obviously wanted to spread his word or whatever he was about, spread his music. That is not the first image the mass public should be seeing of that person, in my opinion. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm not familiar, you know, enough to say anything else. I'm not, and I just think that is unfortunate. You know, that is very unfortunate. But like I said, I had to seek out interviews, you know what I mean, to try to humanize Goonew. That was what I was searching out an opportunity to do. I'm like, if this is the only image I'm gonna see of this dude, and I ain't never gonna see him alive, I ain't never gonna hear his music, and the only thing I see is this, I don't want to have those type of experiences in this life, to where the only way I get to experience you is that way, and that's it. I'm gonna have to find a way to humanize you. I'm gonna have to find a way to hear something other than, yep, it was him, stood up in the club, that's how we know him, that's how we remember him. Not as a rapper, not as a man, not with his family, not with whomever he loved, none of that. Nope, just some morbid image that probably gonna give you nightmares if you got the wrong type of brain for it. I just don't think that's the way to tribute a black man, or any man, anybody, you know. But definitely not somebody who who the world didn't know, man. Who the world did not know. That should not be the first image and the only image a lot of us see of that man. So that's all I got to say about that. That's really all I got to say about that. As far as myself, you know, I just want to put out there, with all of that being said, whatever my family decides to do for me or with me, I really don't think too much about it at 2022. Now, if something changed, you know what I mean, I'll let you know. But as of right now, I don't have a preference on those type of things. I kind of have the same mentality my mother did in regards to if my perception of what death actually is real, it ain't gonna really matter what happens to the body after I'm gone. It ain't. However, I would like everybody to see me alive. That's what I'd like you to see. If for what it's worth, that's what I want you to see. So, yeah, that's what I got, man. Condolences to Goonew and his family and the people that care a lot about him. You know, my condolences and good energy towards y'all. Prayers. And like I said, I'm not here to judge your choices. I just look and learn. And the one thing I learned is that is not how I want to experience human beings of any kind. If you're an artist of some sort, I hope to discover you alive. And one more thing. I looked in the comment section. It was Say Cheese. It was the comment section of Say Cheese's video, an interview with Goonew. He had released the interview that he had done with this man in the past, right after he passed away. And a lot of people were saying, oh, you clout chasing, you dropped this because he passed, you dropped this because, you know, trying to chase clout. But what I would say is there is a very, very important aspect that people are missing when you consider that point of view, and that is exactly what I've been talking about. There are a lot of people who didn't get a chance to see this man alive. There were a lot of people who don't get to know what he was about, didn't get to see him in live action, and I think releasing that particular interview helped a lot of us kind of shake off just the negative energy and shake off that morbidness that came with experiencing him that way. I think it was very important that anybody has anything on Goonew, release it to offset so many different links of that alone. You know what I mean? You gotta, you know, gotta see something else when you Google a man's name and just his body. That's all I'm saying. So I don't agree with those who say that's clout chasing, releasing that stuff. I think when a person passes away, the first thing a lot of the public gonna do is try to find stuff on them. You know what I mean? And if you got something that either was unreleased or something that hasn't been released in 20 weeks and it only has 5 views, you know what I mean? People didn't know who he was. So obviously it made a whole lot of sense for Say Cheese and the representatives there to release that interview so that they can introduce him to a world of people who are only seeing his body. So I don't know if that was released right after he, after the funeral, or if it was after he was shot. But either way, I found it to be helpful for a person like myself who's trying to humanize a man. So I just want to put that out there as well. I don't see that as clout chasing. I see it as necessary. If you got something on somebody and they pass away, if it ain't if it ain't bringing their character down, it's probably a win-win for everybody if you release it. I don't see the clout chasing aspect of it. I see that it is information we can get on the person in the time when it's necessary to get that information. So that's how I look at that, man. I want to throw that out there. That is all I gotta say. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. Come on.